Hello, everyone. This is Thomas Pepin NHL Talk. I'm Thomas Pepin, and let's talk about the NHL. So, today is, I guess you could call it a second half uh, of yesterday. We're having a look at, yesterday was player performance targets. Today is going to be goaltender performance targets. And, excuse me. Specifically, those are save percentage, goals against average, wins, and winning percentage is what I was thinking about looking at. And so I had like 5 minutes before the stream, and I started working on a couple things here uh, to give me an idea of the top tier. The player one, it wasn't necessary because there's just so many players, and it kind of does its organizing by itself. In this case, I really wanted to figure out what's a starter for a team that's going to make the playoffs. So I got to spend a bit of time working on that, and give me a moment to navigate here to that. Do, do, do. Okay. So I had to play around with figuring out to what degree do I factor in so in my opinion for goaltending the biggest most important thing is save percentage. Now I'm sure when you get into advanced analytics and stuff like that, maybe there's other ways. So like high scoring chances stopped and all that, whatever. Save percentage, to be honest, is going to be good enough. And again, I'm not getting paid to do this, so uh, good enough is in fact good enough here. So um, yeah. Oh, I should say, as always, unplanned except for the subject. No prep work except for what I mentioned. I got to start on in the 5 minutes before the stream. So I have to put together on everything on the spot here. And so when I played around with the different stats, and so at a minimum save percentage, it has to include that. And then I need to filter down some other way, and it's the combination of the two. It's hard to figure out what combination you want. So I just played around, adjusted the numbers as I went along, and after filtering, so again, remember from yesterday, the top percentile or bracket of uh, performance that we're looking at, um, because this is data from 3 seasons. 16 teams make the playoffs each year times 3 seasons is 48. And so to make that top tier of goaltenders, filter down to as close as I can to the top 48. And I was, in fact, I think able to get exactly 48 from filtering this way. So if you filter down to 60% of starts, so you can see the calculations here on the right. So 49 games started out of 82 is 60% of the games. And then if we apply a filter of a save percentage of 0.91, which I think is pretty accurate to what you would want from a starter. Then that gives us a filter to get 48 exactly, which was surprising to me. 48 goalies exactly. So, again, this is skewed high because we're filtering out a whole bunch of other things. But yeah, it should be representative enough to give us the top 48, which in turn you're going to choose one of the top 16. So you're going to have a top starter of the top 16, which should be within this stat range. And then, so anyways, I'll go over all the ranges and stuff later on once the data's compiled and whatever. But this was the starting point I wanted to at least get established. Now, I am, just out of interest, going to have a look at an article I wrote. So I wrote a series, I think, of 3 articles. They're no longer up because the website no longer publishes that type of content. They changed their deliverable, whatever you want to call it, product. So yeah, so they're no longer up there, and I can't reference those links to you, unfortunately, but I can at least pull up the articles that I have saved and show you the data specifically. So just give me a second here to pull that up. And I want that. Do I... I don't think I even need that. Okay, so I'll just pull up the one article then. Give me one more sec. Okay, so... Oops, why did I do that? Okay, so anyways, again, I'm doing this on the spot, so I don't actually recall exactly how I structured the article, but the data was as follows on the right of this. So actually, I'll move this over to the left of the screen so you can see it better. So as you can see here, there's kind of a trend for goalies to start less. So, as you can see in the left column here, top 9 goaltenders started about 59 games, and then over time that's decreased down to is 1920 a shortened season? I believe so. So then down to 56. It's kind of been in between, but I mean that's kind of, it's trending downwards is what it looks like. And then otherwise, where was it here? Give me one more one more sec. I think I do need the other article. Actually, you know what? Because the results are kind of included in the main article here. So, anyways, so essentially what was discovered is that there's tiers of goaltending. So the top 9 seems to be relatively consistent, that there's a top 9 that stands out. Then 16, like I said, is kind of a good gauge for a decent goalie, because it's the quantity that make the playoffs. And then there's everybody else after that. So in the other article, what it shows is that backup performance has remained relatively consistent in terms of save percentage. And then their representation of points that they earn from their starts has increased over time. And then I believe on here it'll show the same thing here. So the top 9, they you could say that it's pretty consistent actually for the top 9. The top 16 has been decreasing, it looks like, their representation of points. So 57.9, 57.5, 59, 59, 58, 60. Yeah, so I guess you could say in general that other than the top 9, the rest of the goalies that would typically be starters are playing less, backups are playing more, and contributing more is essentially the story, the results from that that study that I did. And so, yeah, there's only really a top tier of a few goalies. So, like I said, it was 9 is what I decided on in the series. And yeah, in this case, I mean, we want a goalie good enough to make the playoffs. Doesn't need to be a top tier, and it would be unrealistic to try to get a goalie in the top tier. So again, it's kind of fair to target top 16 times 3 years is 48 goalies. That makes up the top percentile, and then we're going to have groups from there. Each group being 90 because it's 3 seasons of 30 teams on average, which makes up 90 players in the tier, and then we have the different tiers from there. So now to gather the data. So give me a second. I just want to record this somewhere. So we have 49 games played and 0.91 save percentage. Okay, so now I can close that and gather the data. So thankfully, because there's not many goalies, this should be relatively quick. Now, the question is do I filter out any number of goalies? I did with players. Let's see if there's any cutoff points that make sense. One game is too little. 82 minus 49, 33 games. What was the average number of goalies? Give me 1 sec to find that. So what we used yesterday was data gathered from a previous study on number of players needed. And we'll reference that and see if that gives us a decent idea here. So goalies, it says an average of 3 goalies. It's as high as almost 4. Let's do a math here. Give me 1 sec. There we go. So if it was 60% of 82, and let's maybe do 60% of 33. So that's 20, which leaves 13. Minimum of 13 games. That seems like too little. Let's try another thing here. So we've got 48 plus 90 plus 90 228. 4 games. 4 divided by 82 is 5%. Is that fair? I think so. I think that's going to be good enough. So minimum of 4 games. And wait, so I said 48, 90, 90s, 3 goalies deep. And then that gets us to only really 3 goalies deep in a bit. Maybe 3 games is better. What's the max here? Was 3.7. 0.7 times 90 is 60. 228 plus 60 puts us to all the goalies. So I guess we'll go to minimum of 2 starts. I think that's good enough. Minimum 2 games played. Gives us 250. Yeah, I think that's good enough. So give me 1 sec here. Close that. I want this. No. Oh, I should change that. So bear with me. I'm just gonna open up yesterday's to steal some information. Good. Then we want that. Okay. So now I need to combine all this spreadsheet, so just bear with me a sec here. Don't think I'll need that. I need that. So I'm just gonna combine them here without sharing the screen. It'll just take a sec anyways. It's just 3 spreadsheets, so bear with me. That's good. Good. I think that's done. Close that. All right, so now to set up the percentiles. So bear with me. We will put that here. that. We want E2 to E251. I said games played, wins. Wait, I said games played. Yeah, I think wins as well. It'll be point percentage, not win percentage. Then we want save percentage and goals against average. Okay, and then we had 48 divided by 250 is 19. So 81st percentile, 81. That is G. Oops. G. And then we want points, which I'll have to calculate. We'll do that now. Point percentage. And how do I calculate that? So we have and we'll do it, yeah, I guess by games played. So it'll be equals wins times 2 plus overtime times 1 divided by games played times 2. Should be correct. So wins plus ties divided by games played. And we want it to be 3 decimal points, I guess. Expand that. Oops. So we've got that. Save percentage is O. And it needs to be 81. And then goals against average is P. And 81. Oh, because we want that to be low, so that's the opposite. That'll be 19. Okay. I think that's good. Let's make sure the references are correct. So games played. Wins. Oh, I did the wrong one for that, so that's K. T51. O is save percentage. P is goals against average. Good. Now, so it was 81. Now we need 48 plus 90 divided by 250 is 45. Oh shoot, that's the opposite. So what was that again? 55? I gotta remember not to make that mistake for the rest here. Okay, and then 138 plus 90 divided by 250 is 9. Whoops, that's 90. 09. 09. 09. 09 and that's 91. And then we want zeros for the rest. 0, 0, 0, 0, and 100. So I think that's correct. Now just give me a sec to make sure. 81, 55 instead of 45, 19 instead of 81, 45, 45, 45, 45, 9, 9, 9, 9, 91, 1, 0, 0, 0, 0. Okay, so then I think that's the results. Oh, we want one more decimal point. I think that's good now. Okay, so it will be, let me just verify that this is right. Yes, it is. Okay, so now we've got the percentiles, which gives us brackets of or groups of players for the performance. So the top bracket is the 81st percentile, which is the top 48 goaltenders. And again, that is the best 16 from 3 seasons. So 16 plus 16, 32, 48. That, in theory, will guarantee you of a goalie good enough to make the playoffs. And so You choose one from there. And then the next tier, so 45th percentile up to the 81st, is your backup in theory. And so, and then so you choose one from there. And then the next is the 9th percentile up to 45. You choose one from there for your third or your second backup. And then the last one is your fourth backup. And then again, if you take a look at the results here, which I'll zoom in so you can see them better, we have, so in the 81st percentile, there's a goalie would play 55 games, which I said 49 was the target, but that's again, everything, keep in mind everything skews high because we're choosing the best from these seasons. So, and then averaged over 3 seasons, you're technically it's going to skew higher. So anyways, the top tier is going to have 55 games played, 26 wins, point percentage of 0.6. I need to do more decimal points for that. Oops. So point percentage of 59.5% or 0.595. Save percentage of 923, which is quite high. So that, excuse me, to aim for a goalie with a save percentage that high is pretty darn high. But again, it's like I said yesterday, there's no problem with aiming high and not quite getting the result. Than it is to aim low and then get your result. So, 923 save percentage. I guess the one thing to factor in is if you order everybody by save percentage, if you played one game and your save percentage was so something like this, a point percentage of 100%, which because they won 2 games that of the 2 games they played. So again, it skews high, but that's fine. Whatever, we can handle that. And then goals against average of 2.39. So that's the performance targets for goalies. Give me a sec to make sure I did in fact accomplish everything I wanted to. So we wanted save percentage, goals against average, wins, and winning percentage, which is points percentage. So that is all accomplished. So I can do that. Yeah, and the funny thing, actually, I will go back to the results here. So based on what I was saying previously about, the study that I had done previously, on average, backup goaltenders were around a 9-1 save percentage. And so this is actually pretty darn close. So a 908 is pretty much right on the mark. Point percentage, I can't recall what it was. Let's pull it up. That's it. So they were 54% point percent, so this skews a bit low, but in any case, I mean, yeah, it's fine. So I think this actually will lead well. Will it lead well? So I was just about to potentially announce tomorrow's subject, but I don't think I'll do that one yet because I need to see more. I think I might have to save that one. So it's goalie related, and I think I'm going to have to save that towards the end because I need all the information before I can start to get into that subject. Anyways, just I guess as a teaser, there's a really interesting subject I was thinking about related to goaltending. And of course, tied into this whole management strategy for NHL GMs. And it's a unique concept, I think. And so I'm going to try it. But I need all the data before I can do that, I think. Yeah, because I'll need to put together the calculations for everything. Yeah. Yeah, so it'll have to be one of the last ones, I think, in the end, which is unfortunate because I really want to get to it. But, anyways, so a little teaser. The fact that I'm so excited about it hopefully gives you reason to look forward to it. I promise it's going to be really interesting. I think very unique strategy, very unique concept. It's not a massive thing, but I think it actually could be substantially impactful to GM and team performance. So I won't be able to do that one yet. But given that I don't know what next subject's going to be, so I'm going to have to decide that between now and the start of the stream tomorrow. So I think that's a good point to stop things. So we found the results here. Again, these and the player ones are going to be relevant once we're actually starting to put together the roster, which is why I can't get into that other subject I want to do, because I think I need to do the baseline first, where to kind of conclude these two streams together, where after you pick a person from each tier of player, you combine all the players to figure out the combined performance or approximate combined performance of the team. And then you have like your, in theory, perfect team, and you can compare it against other things. So that's what we're going to get to. And so we at least have performance targets to be able to make up the roster. Now, the next things we're going to be getting to are things like salary planning and things like that. Yeah. But again, don't know the exact subject, but I think we're going to be getting more into the cap management, spending flow strategy kind of thing, I think, is what we'll get into. But like I said, I'll have to go and review the subjects I have planned at least, and then figure out which one is the best to the flow of the series. So anyways, thanks for tuning in. If you like the stream, hit the like button, share with your friends, subscribe, turn on notifications. Otherwise, channel homepage will tell you upcoming streams or any changes to timing. And yeah, if you have any comments, leave them in the comments, suggestions likewise. And we'll see you again tomorrow, 2 p.m. Eastern, as normal, every day except for Sundays, and with a topic to be determined. I don't even know. I'm interested to figure out what it is. So, anyways, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you tomorrow.